Back in 1990, my wife bought me a book. It was the first of a series of books that I'd read by the late Dr. Wayne W. Dyer. Here is the book. You'll see it when you believe it. And in the introduction of that book, Wayne points out something pretty obvious. He says, we cannot drink the word water. And we cannot get wet from the word rain. Now, this is pretty obvious. However, as a storyteller, it goes a little bit deeper than that. Because if we hear the words, and if we've experienced getting wet from rain, and if we've experienced drinking water, and who of us has not, then there's something else added again. If, for example, those words rain and water were put to, say, someone in Africa who'd never read or heard those words, they wouldn't mean a thing. But to us, having heard the English language and knowing what the words mean, they do have an effect on us after all. So Dr. Wayne Dyer's claim is not completely vindicated, because although we cannot get wet from the word rain, and we cannot drink the word water, the meanings of those words are stored in our body as sensations. We remember them. Remember them whether they're good or bad. So our feelings about rain, for example, getting caught out in the rain, could be pleasurable, or its opposite, depending upon the circumstances. What I'm saying here is that those particular words, the nouns themselves, are almost tangible. And in a way they are tangible because they evoke feelings when we hear those words in a story. This is why when we pick out our words in storytelling, we need to use words that are almost evoke something tangible, evoke in us a feeling. For example, the description H2O doesn't sound the same, it doesn't affect us the same as the word water. And the word precipitation doesn't affect us in the same way that the word rain does. Rain. This is because of the way we interpret the words from the feelings that are aroused in our body when we hear those words. And that is why a good storyteller picks out visual scenes which evoke tangible feelings in the body of the listener. Very important. This is why good storytellers tend to use simple, concrete, easily visual words that evoke those feelings in the listener. This is why storytelling is such a skill. When I say it's a skill, it is built up subtly, subconsciously by the storyteller, perhaps by their listening to stories when they were younger, reading the right types of books. This is important. There's a lot of talk about business stories today, but do business stories really arouse emotion? If they don't, they're losing their point altogether, so why tell them? I've never been in business. I don't tell business stories. I tell stories which evoke feelings in the listeners so that they are carried into the scene, that they live the movie in their minds. from the words that I tell them, that I speak to them. They do the interpretation. I just put up the words that are interpreted by them. That's why it's important, as I said, to have those tangible words which evoke the feelings in the listeners. This is the skill, the presentation skills of the good storyteller.